Hey, on the side of the world that I am, on the soil which I stand, it's a pretty beautiful day. There's a buzzing and a smell in the air of life. I hope wherever you are, also there's a sweet smell and buzzing of life. On the other hand, on another side of the world, yet again, there is the absolute opposite. There's chaos, there's barbarism. There are things happening that we would only think we'd watch on a horror movie, something that would have been scripted and acted with makeup and all of that, but it's happening for real somewhere else yet again. And it's pretty silent. It's loud for them. For us, I think it's a little too silent. Because when you watch the news, this is not the first rodeo with war. People tend to get very silent. I don't think we should. And you can't do much about helping on the soil because you're somewhere else. But I think the least everyone should do is to always resonate and think with yourself that which is happening somewhere else can happen on the soil where you are at any time. And let me tell you why. Because always there is somebody who's thinking, who's festering in their hearts that they are right and you are wrong. And that's where hate starts. Hate starts with separation, with somebody who says, I'm right and you're wrong. For whatever reason, whether it's religious, whether it's political, whether it's family, it doesn't matter. In Jamaica, when I say, them bad mind way. And through them bad mind way, they hate we. We Caribbean people, that's how we talk about that. But wherever there's that thought system, there festers hate. And it actualizes itself physically in acts that are so far away from God, but people still say it's so close to God. So I ask a question. What do you think about what's happening? Everything that's going on in the news. How does it make you feel? Because I know I'm not alone. And I'm right in the middle of it because I have colleagues and I have friends who have family on the ground. And I don't watch the narratives on the news and the headlines. I am hearing it for real in real time when their families call them and the sirens go off. And then I have a realization like, oh, that could be the last time they hear from their families. And it puts a burning in the heart because when you start to see the news and you see what happens to the children and the entire families, the atrocities that happens, you wonder who wins in a war. And the history of this universe, not just Earth, this universe, nobody wins in a war. Never have, never will. But there's always casualties of war. And something always happens in the end. Sometimes I say, God always does something to show that the power that you think you have, you actually don't have. There's always a great disaster that follows. So is it a cycle? Is it something that we should now accept? Should it be the norm? We have one that's still happening in another part of the world, and that's not working. And I ask myself, why is it happening somewhere else? And where else is it going to happen? For those of us who can foresee it, can we just pray that in the hearts of the person who's planning the next attack, the next atrocity on another soil, that there can be a little light shone on the heart that is so dark that you can kill children the way you've done in the past couple days? On every side, I don't care which one. Because when I heard the children giggling and I knew that there was war there over the phone, I thought to myself, as a mother, and you as a mother, a parent, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a family member, a friend, just visualize yourself explaining to a child who you've taught love and protection always, and visualize them in that situation where at any second they can be no more. explain to them that this thing that is happening around them has everything to do with love. And if you can explain that to a child and have them fully understand it and embrace it and start giggling again, then you can tell me what you're doing is right. Because for some reason, either the people who plan these things have no heart, or you have convinced yourself that the act that you're carrying out is for love. And I breathe. Because if the act that you're carrying out is for love, how is it that my heart burns and so many other people are affected by it emotionally? Why is it that so many people have to cover their faces when the news comes on because they can't see the atrocities? They cannot bear to visualize the physical thing that is happening that you decided to do out of the act of what you call love. And if I tell you that you don't have a heart, I have no right to say that. But if you've convinced yourself that you're acting out of love, how come your love hurts so much? There's a disconnection there somewhere. And if this can happen on any soil, what do we do to fix it? Because this has happened forever. And people are going to say, it can never be fixed. Leave them alone. Don't business with what's happening there. But I have enough friends from many communities, religiously too. And although the name of God is different, the one thing that remains the same is love and compassion in every religion. I don't care what your modality is or what you call or how you act upon it, which day you worship. I don't care about that. The one thing united is love and compassion in every religion. And if that's the case, we are all connected like a chain link. We're never disconnected from God, no matter what you call him. And that is why something can happen across the world, and you can feel it in your heart and soul so much. It is because of a connection. So if we have this connection, instead of feeling fearful, just say a prayer. Instead of festering the fear and feeding onto the narrative that comes on 24 hours a day, it's going to keep coming, the fear factor. It was so fearful today that I have friends who travel on a train, and they said it was almost empty because something went out yesterday and everybody was fearful that today we expect this to happen, this purge. So when does it stop? Because if it's already on this soil, who stops it? Because it starts right here in the heart of how you think and your love and compassion for your brother and your sister, no matter what culture, what color, what race, where they come from. If you're going to do something right now, no matter where you are, even if you breathe and you can see the life and you have no worries where you are, remember that we are all connected. And the little bit that you can do continually every single day is pray not only for yourself, but for everyone else. Because doing that also saves you. Because what happens on somebody else's soil will eventually touch down on yours. And the love and support you're going to need then too. Show compassion to your brothers and your sisters and your co-workers, no matter the color, no matter what they believe in. Just remember that we're all linked together by one superior being, whatever you call it. We're all connected by love, by this heart. And for those of us who do things out of love that causes so much pain, understand, if it causes pain, there's a disconnect somewhere. And if you stop for a minute and quiet the noise of mom and dad and country and everything else that's telling you that you should do this, just connect with your soul and your heart and feel it when you take the life of a child. Because if you take the life of a child and you don't feel anything, you have a huge disconnect. The closest you can get to God, to sovereignty. Right now, fill a room with babies, with toddlers, from all ages, from every culture, from every religion. Put them in a room and observe them. You don't even have to give them food. Just put them in a room. You don't even have to give them toys. You know what you're going to witness in that room? That's something that naturally should come from us. Love and compassion. They're going to be helping each other. They're going to be curious about each other. They're not going to see color. And that is how we came here into being. We came here innocently, loving each other and having compassion, genuine, without attachments, without conditions, saying you have to believe this and you have to say that and you have to follow this, with all these rules that separates us and tells us to kill innocent children just because somebody else says they are right and those are wrong. Try it out. The babies know love and compassion. And somewhere in the darkness that we have creeped up in these bodies, under these Gucci, these red bottoms, all the distractions that we hold on to, we need to use social media to do something good once and for all, because this can be the last war if we all unite together, just like kids, and not see any faults and any judgments and any rules, and just see another being who's just like you with flesh who wants to live. And understand that I love you without condition, no matter what. And I have compassion for you. And I don't want to see you bleed as much as you don't want to see me bleed. Anyway, I had a rough week. Because like I said, my community, my colleagues, there's a mixture of, I have colleagues who were casualties of the war before, and now casualties of this war going on now. And it's a lot. It's heavy. And what do you tell them? Because you have colleagues from all sides. And I love everybody. So I say, if we could tap into the childlike self that we have, where the heart is pure and not corrupted, we can really, truly, one at a time, really do show love and compassion. And not look at another child with so much hate in your heart, so much darkness, that you would murder them the way that we've heard it happen. And it happens in many countries, almost everyone. It happens all the time. But if we keep silent, it's never going to stop. And if we keep praying, prayer is so powerful. It's going to hit every corner of this planet if we all pray together. For all these countries, for every country, for this country, for all the atrocities that happen, small ones and huge ones, for every child that dies, for every person that dies in these type of ways, never expecting it. God always has a plan. And I know that they're still okay, but is it okay for us to be silent? If you feel it in your heart, if it's burning you, if you can't watch the news, you know something is wrong. There's a disconnect. And you can't go out there and protest, and you can't go out there and fight, because then you're going to be adding to it. So instead of doing that, I ask you to pray every single day, because the war that is happening is not just in that country. That's the visual one. There's a war happening right next door, in somebody's heart that looks at you and say, they're right and you're wrong and you don't even know it. There's a war happening in so many people's hearts because they don't understand that it's darkness there. And they just need to tap into the childlike self of them that sees nothing but love and compassion. Before it touches your doorstep, before it touches your soil, just pray. It's going to be a rough journey, I tell you. It's going to be a rough one. But for all of us who are affected directly or indirectly, just be the love. Just be the light. And remember to pray. Have a good one.